Hello everyone, welcome to this quick video presentation on Iris automated coding system implementation to achieve cause of deaths, highlighting on the topic use of Muse function in Iris. This video presents information on Iris, a software developed and maintained by the Iris Institute. My name is Ms. Ankita Sangle and I am working as an Iris IT specialist with the CDC Foundation supporting data for health initiative activities in India. I support the Iris implementation and maintenance activities in MCGM through the Unit for Strengthening Cause of Death data based at the Tata Memorial Center. In this quick video, I am going to explain the significance of Muse function in Iris. Let me first start by explaining what is Muse in Iris. Muse stands for the Multi-Causal and Unicausal Selection Engine. It is a rule-based software component which processes electronic death certificates and selects the underlying and multiple causes of death. Here, the selection engine works in accordance with the guidelines of the Volume 2 of the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, also known as ICD-10 WHO. Also, since version 5 of Iris, the Muse operates based on the internationally agreed decision tables, which are based on the most recent versions of ICD-10 WHO. The Muse function is placed in the toolbar as shown. Firstly, let's understand the Muse data processing. As shown here, the input is a death certificate with a chain of medical diagnosis to which the Muse algorithm is applied. The originating cause of death being atherosclerosis, as written down by the physician, having ICD-10 code I709, the Muse generates two outputs. The underlying cause of death, that is UC, with ICD-10 WHO code I639 as shown in the left hand side, and the multiple causes of death, that is MC, at the right hand side. After clicking on the Muse button, the user is presented with the corresponding window. Now let's dive deep into knowing what happens here. At first, let's see specification section and know how to configure Muse. This section represents specification files directory name. The main logic of Muse is defined by two specification files, both in .csv format, being located in the subdirectory, namely spec of the installation directory, which is usually the default setting. So, for example, if executable file iris.exe is in C drive's program files /iris/ the default Muse specification directory will be in C drive program files /iris/spec/. The main Muse specification directory also contains special subdirectories related to different versions of Muse contained specification. Each subdirectory is named according to the following name scheme as shown below, where V followed by 4x represents main versions like V2020, V2021, etc. and SR followed by 2x represents optional service releases like SR20, SR30. This configuration directory is called the main Muse specification directory. Here, the main Muse specification directory lately provided by Iris is spec/specv 2021 SR30, which contains two files. Firstly, specv 2021 SR30-codes.csv file, and secondly, specv 2021 SR30 muse.csv.des file. The Muse file spec codes contains the valid codes like ICD-10 WHO codes and created codes for the Muse. It is possible to translate the label name or to change the label name of the emergency codes at this file. Please note that one can do changes only at the column label at this file. The second file, spec.muse, contains all the multiple cause and underlying cause of death instructions used by Muse. These are table entries based on the international decisions and should not be modified by users. The decision tables are a subset of the specification file spec.muse. Also, please note that this file is encrypted, so it is not possible to do any changes or to look inside this file. To know more, you can find the latest Muse specification files on the Iris Institute official website by following the link given in the description box below. The Muse specification window is usually displayed during the start of Iris application. Here you can select or change the path of specification file you want and optionally check the automatic start next time option to avoid making these choices at every restart of the application. And then select the load selected specification button. Lastly, in the Muse specification configuration topic, please note that the Muse decision logics can be modified simply by changing a specification file. Coming back to the Muse explanation window, the certificate group box at the top left represents the basic information of the particular electronic certificate, displaying the certificate number, age, sex, and manner of death as entered in the system. The next group box gives summarizing information about the uni and multi-causal results. First is the underlying cause of death, that is UC displayed. Then are the direct codes, that is D codes, that usually come automatically from Iris dictionary or can be inserted manually by coders or changed by ICD substitution table. Then are the multiple cause codes, that is M codes, and if Muse performs multiple cause code modifications, these codes will differ from the D codes and the text M codes will be colored red. Also then are the unicausal selection codes, that is the U codes. Before the selection of underlying cause of death, Muse applies additional code modifications which may contain deletion or substitution of Z codes and deletion of asterisk codes. This processing step is called preparation of unicausal selection, abbreviated as PUS. If Muse performs one or more PUS modifications, the U codes will be different from the M codes and the text U codes will be colored red. Also, please note as shown in the example that if one or more maybe instructions are performed during the processing, the final underlying cause of death will be selected for manual revision and an orange text maybe will be displayed. Followed is the next group box codes with changes, displaying the line codes line A to line E from part 1 as recorded in the electronic certificate for a particular deceased based on the medical conditions along with the contributing cause of death conditions in part 2 is specified. It forms as the input to the Muse function and apply the Muse algorithm to select the underlying and multiple cause of death. Here, the codes deleted due to a Muse instruction are displayed in strike-through formatting and highlighted in red. The codes added to direct codes are colored blue, and finally, the selected underlying cause of death is highlighted with a yellow background color. The last group box in the Muse explanation window is coding log. It depicts how the Muse algorithm is applied on the line codes using the starting point, that is SP rules ranging from SP1 to SP8, or modification rules ranging from M1 to M4. To know more about how Muse applies each of these rules, you can refer to the IRIS user manual available on the IRIS Institute's official website. The link is provided in the description box below. Coming back to the coding log, here the first column shows the serial number of the rows, followed by the type column displaying the name of corresponding starting point rules or modification rules. The blue lines show the multiple cause coding instructions performed by Muse algorithm. In the start of selection, the starting codes used for unicausal selection, that is U codes, are displayed. The gray and green lines inform users about unicausal processing steps according to the ICD-10 WHO's Volume 2. The successfully applied rules are displayed in green. Usually another green row is added each time when a rule is applied successfully. If you tick the checkbox full log, the gray lines are shown. Rules which couldn't be applied are displayed in the gray color. And the new tentative selected underlying cause of death is contained in the column UC followed by type column. The reason for non-application is displayed in the column message. Now let's look into the pros of using Muse in IRIS. Muse supports created codes, connected codes, and flags. It supports the correct and complete application of ICD-10 instructions during the statistical preparation of death certificates. The variability caused by different human coding practices can be minimized here. The coders are able to follow the complex decisions of the automatic coding system. It supports the implementation of uniform coding practices and reduces daily workload of the coding staff. Muse does have few limitations, as it does not process all cases automatically. Following are the cases that should be revised after batch processing: post-procedural disorders, pregnancy, childbirth and the puerperium, complications of medical and surgical care, and sequelae of medical and surgical care. Lastly, let's check out the Muse settings in IRIS, as they can be customized according to our work systems. We have to traverse to the Tools to the Options window and select the Coding tab within it. In the Muse settings group box, we are needed to select the appropriate paths for the Muse specification file as provided by IRIS Software Setup, along with the Muse user option and translation XML files. One can also set or change path of Muse specification file by clicking on the version button and select the appropriate specification file if not done at the start of the IRIS application, as we have already discussed. With that, you can successfully try out using the Muse function in IRIS. The information presented in this video comes mainly from the IRIS website that is available on the link presented on the slide. Please consider looking at the website for further information on IRIS, how it is maintained, the countries implementing IRIS and engaged in the core group, and any other questions you may have. Information presented in this video on WHO ICD-10 comes from the WHO ICD website that is available on the link presented in the slide. This website includes information on various ICD versions, including ICD-11. Please consider looking at this website for information on ICD-10 and ICD-11 and any questions you might have about the various versions of this mortality classification system. I hope you found this short video on IRIS helpful and hope you consider watching the other IRIS and informational videos we have developed and posted on the YouTube channel Unit for Strengthening Cause of Death Data. Please stay tuned for further videos on IRIS implementation. Thank you.